Hello there, and welcome to Whispers to Sleep. My name is David, and I'm truly honored to be your guide tonight. Here we believe sleep is not just a routine. It's a gentle journey, a quiet return to peace every night. I craft stories with care, so your mind can rest and your body can soften all you need to do. Let go, take a slow deep breath in, and as you breathe out, allow the day to melt away. Close your eyes. Get cozy under the covers and let my voice lead you into calm, into comfort, into dreams. This is your time. Your memento. Truly relax. Let's begin. The night settles around you like a soft blanket, heavy enough to quiet the hum of the day, but light enough to let you breathe. You stand still for a moment, listening. Somewhere in the distance, the world is winding down. The last echoes of footsteps, the fading hum of electricity, the quiet sigh of wind brushing through the trees and then you see it at the edge of the clearing. Where moonlight touches the grass in silver threads, a mongoose appears, small, poised, and unafraid. It gazes at you with eyes that shimmer like pools of reflected starlight. There is no rush, no fear, only an unspoken invitation, a call to leave the noise of thought behind and step into a quieter rhythm. You follow. Each step you take is softer than the one before. Your shoulders ease and your breath begins to match the pace of the world around you. Slow, deep, unhurried. This is what happens when the body listens to the night. Your heart, that steady drum, begins to slow, not because you force it, but because the dark sky above is speaking to it. In a language older than words, the mongoose glances back once, its tail brushing the grass like a painter's stroke across a midnight canvas. You keep walking. The ground beneath you is cool, and the air has that crisp, almost electric stillness, the kind that makes every sound clear. A cricket sings in the distance. A leaf drifts down and lands without a sound, and above you, the stars are endless dew. You know what happens when you look at the stars long enough. Your brain begins to quiet. The part of your mind that once chased unfinished thoughts and tomorrow's worries is slowly lulled into stillness. Scientists call it the default mode. Network, that busy circuit of self-reflection and constant chatter. But under the sky, it softens. Your brain begins to hum in slower rhythms, your alpha waves rising like the tide, inviting you toward calmness. The mongoose leads you along a narrow trail bordered by sleeping ferns. It moves without sound, as though it belongs to this quiet world in a way you've almost forgotten how to. And maybe it does. In the hush of the forest, you notice how your own breath mirrors the rise and fall of the night breeze. You inhale. Your lungs expand, and with them, tiny alveoli, microscopic. Air pockets, millions of them, bloom open like flowers. They drink in oxygen, invisible and quiet, delivering it to every cell. And when you exhale, you give something back. Carbon dioxide, the very breath the trees will cradle until dawn. You are part of this exchange, this quiet trade written into. The language of biology. The mongoose stops. You stop too. For a moment, there is only stillness. Your heart is steady, your breath unhurried, and your body, so often pulled in 100 directions, has found a center. A night is not empty. It is full of invisible patterns, from the pulse in your veins to the cosmic pull of the moon. Above, you tilt your head back and look again at the stars. Many of them are so far away that their light left long before your first breath. And yet, here it is, crossing the void just to reach you. It's a quiet truth. You are made of this. Same light. The iron in your blood was forged in the heart of a star. Every breath you take is a reminder that you are, in the smallest way, a continuation of the universe's oldest story. The mongoose moves again, this time slower, as if to give you time to feel it all. The hum of your neurons firing and gentle. Pulses, the warmth in your chest as your heart beats its patient rhythm, the quiet reassurance that you are not separate from this night. You are woven into it. And isn't that comforting? You walk until the trees begin to thin, and the forest opens into a clearing. Here, the moonlight is brighter, and the air carries the faint scent of earth and moss. The mongoose sits, curling its tail around its paws, and simply waits. You sit. The ground is cool, grounding. You press your hands against it and feel the solidity beneath your fingers. Beneath that soil lies a web of roots, fungi, and unseen life, an underground network as complex and interconnected as the neurons in your brain. Scientists call it the mycorrhizal network, but you don't need the term to feel its quiet wisdom. Every tree, every blade of grass is part of a conversation you cannot hear, but can somehow sense. You close your eyes for a moment. The night presses closer, not heavy, but warm and sheltering. Your breathing slows further, almost instinctively. The mongoose shifts slightly, and for a heartbeat, it seems as if its breathing matches yours. In, out, time dissolves. There is only this, the hush of the forest, the quiet intelligence of the world around you, and the gentle reminder that you are safe here. And then very softly, you feel it, a shift. Your thoughts, which once felt sharp and restless, begin to blur at the edges, softening like watercolor in the rain. The night has a way of doing this, pulling you from the rigid lines of the day into something gentler, something that doesn't need edges to be understood. The mongoose stands, not subtly, but with an unhurried grace. Its eyes meet yours, and in them is a quiet question. Without words, it asks if you are ready to go deeper, past the stars above, and into the invisible patterns within yourself. You rise. Your feet are steady. Your breath is even. And as you follow the mongoose once more into the trees, the world feels quieter still, as if every step forward is not just a step into the forest, but into the very currents of your own calm. Because beyond this place, where the air hums softly and the sky holds you like an old friend, lies something deeper, something unseen, and it is waiting for you in a forest of quiet currents. The path narrows as you follow the mongoose deeper into the forest. The world is darker here, but not frightening. It is the kind of dark that feels protective, like being wrapped in a soft blanket. The air is still, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth. And beneath it all, there's a quiet hum. At first, you think it's in the trees, in the wind, in the subtle rustle of leaves. But then, you notice it isn't out there at all. It's in you. Your body has always been full of quiet electricity. Each thought you have, every memory, every flicker of imagination, is born from tiny pulses of energy leaping from one neuron to another. Inside your skull, there are nearly 86 billion neurons, each one reaching out like a branch to connect with others. Together, they create a forest of their own, a living network where sparks become ideas and silence becomes peace. The mongoose pauses and looks back at you, its eyes shimmering in the moonlight, as if it already knows what you're feeling. You kneel for a moment, pressing your fingertips against the cool soil. Somewhere below, roots weave through the earth, carrying messages from one tree to the next. Above, your own brain hums with electrical signals, each one softer now, slower, settling into the tranquil rhythm of theta waves, the same gentle currents that flow when you dream. You walk again, step by step, your breath steady. And in this calm, you begin to notice other rhythms. Your heart, for instance. It beats in quiet loyalty, pumping life into every corner of your body. With each contraction, blood moves through arteries like rivers through a silent canyon. It carries oxygen, drawn in from your last breath, down to the cells waiting for it. Tiny sparks of life that burn quietly, just enough to keep you warm, to keep you whole. The mongoose stops near an old tree whose trunk twists like a question mark. It sits, watching you. So you lean your back against the bark and close your eyes. You feel it then, the pulse in your wrists, the rise and fall of your chest, the steady drum of your heart in your ribs. It is not loud, but it is there, constant and faithful. If you listen closely, you can almost hear it echo in the forest around you. And maybe that's not just imagination, because the forest has its own pulse. The leaves, through tiny pores, breathe out oxygen with every shift of the wind. Deep below, fungal networks stretch like invisible threads, carrying nutrients and signals between trees, almost like neurons whispering to each other in the soil. Even the air seems to move in quiet cycles, cooled by night, warmed by day, a rhythm so vast you barely notice it until you stop and feel it. This is the language of biology. Not numbers, not charts, but movement. Flow. You run your hand across the rough bark of the tree, and the mongoose sits closer now, curling its tail neatly around itself. For a moment, you imagine the electrical impulses in your brain as fireflies, drifting in slow motion, lighting up tiny pathways inside your mind. Each one is a flicker of thought, a memory, or maybe just the quiet realization that you are alive in this moment. And that is enough. You exhale. Your breath floats in the cool night, air like a ribbon. In, out, in, out. The pattern is hypnotic. Your diaphragm moves without effort, your body remembering how to do this long before you ever thought about it. With each breath, your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of you that knows how to rest, takes over. Your heart rate slows. Your muscles soften. Even your thoughts begin to loosen, untangling like knots that have waited all day too. Be undone. The mongoose tilts its head, then steps forward. It doesn't rush. It doesn't need to. Its movements are quiet lessons, that not everything needs to be fast, that the world will meet you where you are if you only let it. You follow. And as you move through the forest, you feel it more and more, the way every living thing has a current, a flow. You think of rivers, of blood, of wind weaving through. The trees. You think of neurons flashing like stars in the dark. You think of how your body and the world are not separate at all, but different verses of the same quiet poem. You stop by a small stream. Its surface glimmers with reflected starlight, and when you crouch down beside it, the sound of running water fills your ears like soft music. Even here, there is science in the serenity. Water molecules pulling at one another, held together by invisible hydrogen bonds, creating this endless soothing ripple. You dip your fingers into it, and the coolness grounds you, anchors you, reminds you that everything, even this, follows simple, beautiful laws. The mongoose waits on the far bank, patient and still. You cross carefully, stepping from stone to stone. Your balance comes easily now, as though the steady hum in your body has found its match in the forest's rhythm. And when you reach the other side, you notice something. The forest is quieter here. Or maybe you are, because sometimes when your own inner noise settles, the world stops needing to shout. The mongoose leads you beneath a low-hanging branch, and you duck your head, stepping into a clearing bathed in moonlight. The air here is warmer, softer, and there's a stillness that makes your eyelids heavy, but not in a way that pulls you down, more like a gentle hand resting on your shoulder, reminding you that it's safe to rest. You glance at the mongoose. It blinks once, slow and deliberate, as if agreeing. Somewhere in the back of your mind, you feel it, the electrical hum of your brain slowing further, the signals spreading like ripples in a pond rather than crashing like waves. Your body is no longer bracing for the day. It is preparing for the quiet. And yet, just as you begin to settle into the comfort of this moment, the mongoose turns its head toward a shadowed path you hadn't noticed before. It looks at you. Waiting. And without a word, you understand. There's something deeper still. Something hidden, not in the trees or the stream or even the sky above, but in the space between your heartbeats, in the places where stillness lives. You step toward the path, and in the hush of the forest, you feel the question rising. What will you find in the silence beyond sound? The forest opens, and the path unfolds like a ribbon under your feet. The mongoose trots ahead, tail held high, as though it knows the way to something sacred. You follow, and soon the trees thin, and the canopy above gives way to a wide, endless sky. You stop. The stars greet you first. They shine like scattered lanterns, their light having traveled millions of years just to reach you. You breathe in, and in that single breath, it feels as if the whole universe is leaning closer, not rushing, not demanding, only existing. In quiet harmony with you, the mongoose sits at the edge of a clearing and looks up. You join it, lifting your gaze. The air here is crisp, almost shimmering, as though the night itself hums with invisible threads. And as you breathe again, slowly, deeply, you realize something. Your breath is not just yours. It is shared. When you inhale, oxygen fills your lungs, slipping through bronchi and branching into bronchioles until it reaches the tiny alveoli. Small, delicate sacs no bigger than the head of a pin. And there, through walls as thin as paper, oxygen flows into your blood. It binds to hemoglobin, tiny iron-bearing molecules that gleam in your veins like hidden stars. You exhale. Carbon dioxide drifts out, and though you can't see it, the trees around you can. They welcome it. They take it in, feeding their own quiet green machinery, transforming your breath into life for themselves. You are not just a visitor here. You are part of the exchange, an unspoken conversation between lungs and leaves, body and forest, molecule and moonlight. The mongoose glances at you, as if to say, "See? You belong here too." You draw another breath, slower this time. The air feels cool at first, then warm as it fills you, as though it carries the memory of stars. And maybe it does, because the oxygen you breathe was born in the heart of ancient suns. Billions of years ago, stars fused lighter elements into heavier ones, helium into carbon, carbon into oxygen, until, with their final breath, they scattered their elements across the cosmos. The air in your lungs tonight is dust from those very stars, reshaped by time, carried by wind, and drawn into the forest where you now stand. You breathe in starlight. You exhale life. The mongoose steps closer, and you kneel down beside it. Its fur is warm, and its stillness reminds you of the trees that stand so patiently around you. You close your eyes, listening to the rhythm of your breath. In, out, in, out. Each cycle is a tide. Your diaphragm moves like the moon pulling at the ocean, guiding waves of air in and out of your body. This rhythm isn't just habit, it's connection. Every inhalation is a quiet reminder. You are alive. You are part of this. You open your eyes and look at the trees. Under the moonlight, their branches sway, as if breathing with you. Science calls it gas exchange, oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. But in this moment, it feels like something softer, something older. You imagine the molecules drifting from you to the nearest tree, slipping into its leaves, feeding its silent work. You imagine the oxygen it will give back, floating toward you on a breeze, returning the gift. Breath for breath, the mongoose nudges your hand, grounding you. You laugh quietly, not because it's funny, but because it feels simple and true. You take another breath. This time, you notice how your heart slows. The act of deep breathing activates your vagus nerve, that long, winding thread of calm that runs from your brain down into your chest and beyond. It tells your body, rest now. You are safe. The forest feels it too. The crickets chirp softer here, as though the very air has lowered its voice. You glance upward again. The stars look closer now, not because they have moved, but because you have. Each breath has drawn you inward and outward at once, until the boundary between you and the night sky no longer feels like a line at all. You are breathing with the stars. The mongoose pads toward the center of the clearing and lies down. You follow, stretching out on the cool grass. The earth cradles you. You breathe, and you imagine each inhale drawing in not just air, but quiet, the kind of quiet that smooths every sharp edge in your mind. Science has a word for this too: coherence. When your breath, your heart, and your brainwaves begin to move in harmony, the body shifts into balance. Your nervous system hums like a well-tuned instrument, and for a moment, you are both small and infinite at once. You turn your head and see the mongoose curled nearby, its eyes half closed, its body rising and falling in sync with yours. Even here, even now, in the stillness of a midnight clearing, you are not alone. Your breath deepens. Your chest lifts and falls like a calm tide. You can almost imagine your lungs as two small universes, expanding and contracting with each moment. With every exhale, you let go of the weight of the day, little by little, like stars slipping over the horizon at dawn. The air you breathe out drifts upward. Maybe, in time, it will circle the globe. Maybe it will slip into the branches of another forest or the lungs of another traveler standing beneath another sky. You smile. The thought is comforting, that something of you will always return to the world, even in the simplest of ways. The mongoose stirs and looks toward the forest again. A narrow path winds away from the clearing, disappearing into shadow. You know. You will follow it soon, but not yet. For now, you stay here, letting the rhythm of breath and starlight settle into every part of you. You inhale one last time, slow and full, holding the air just long enough to feel its weight, a reminder of all the hands it has passed through: trees, oceans, wind, time itself. As you exhale, a thought rises, soft as the night breeze. If breathing can bind you to the stars, what else might you find in the quiet spaces between each breath? The mongoose pads softly ahead, its paws brushing over the earth with a rhythm that feels almost like a heartbeat. You follow, the forest around you quieter now, as though it knows what waits just beyond. Soon, the trees open, revealing a pool of water so still it looks like a mirror. The moon rests on its surface, whole and unbroken. The mongoose stops at the edge, its eyes bright, and gestures with the slightest tilt of its head. You step forward, leaning over the pool. At first, you see only a reflection, your face, your breath fogging faintly in the cool night air. But then the water shimmers, and suddenly the reflection changes. Your skin seems to dissolve into soft, glowing lines. Beneath the surface, a vast network unfolds, veins branching like rivers, capillaries threading outward into the distance, each one carrying the quiet current of your life. You breathe, and the rivers pulse. You lean closer. In this vision, you are no longer just looking at yourself. You are traveling through yourself. Your blood vessels stretch across the landscape, tens of thousands of miles, enough to wrap around the earth more than twice. Within them, blood cells drift like tiny boats, carrying oxygen to every corner of you. The mongoose sits beside you, calm, as if this unveiling is as natural as watching the stars. And maybe it is because inside you, this map never stops moving. You watch as red blood cells slip through narrow capillaries, delivering their precious oxygen, while white blood cells patrol like quiet guardians, protecting you without ever asking for your notice. Your heart, steady and patient, sends out each beat like a soft drum, keeping the current flowing. For a moment, you close your eyes. You listen, and you can almost hear it, the hush of blood moving, the soft percussion of life. When you open your eyes again, the pool shows you something new. It dives deeper, past the rivers of blood, into a web of glowing threads. Neurons. They spark like constellations. Each one reaches for another, forming pathways of thought and memory. There are billions of them, each carrying tiny electrical whispers, faster than a blink. Together, they weave the fabric of everything you are, your dreams, your questions, the way you follow the mongoose tonight without fear. The mongoose looks at you, and in its stillness, you understand. This is not chaos. This is harmony. Your body is a map, but it is also a song. Blood and breath, neurons and signals, each one playing its part in a quiet, perfect rhythm. You reach a hand toward the water, your fingertips nearly touching its surface. As you do, the map seems to expand, showing you how every part connects. The heart speaks to the lungs to the blood to the brain. Everything in you is a conversation, unbroken and unending, even in your sleep. This map stays lit. Even now, as you stand under the moonlight, these rivers run, these lanterns glow, and this hidden architecture keeps its silent promise to hold. The mongoose steps closer to the pool and dips its paw into the water. The ripples spread, and with them, the map changes again. Now you see the lymphatic system, clear streams running parallel to your blood vessels, carrying away what is no longer needed, cleansing you quietly, like a tide that never rests. You see the bones, not cold or rigid, but alive, their marrow quietly forging the blood that feeds your rivers. You see how even the smallest cells are part of this grand cartography. You breathe out, and the pool glows a little brighter. The air feels different now. Knowing what is inside you doesn't make you feel small. It makes you feel endless. Because each tiny piece, each thread of this living map is part of something larger, not just a body, but a world that contains its own forests and rivers, its own lantern-lit skies. The mongoose presses its nose against your hand, and you smile. It's as if it's reminding you, this map is not just yours. It belongs to every living thing. The same rivers run in the deer hidden in the trees, and the owl perched above, in every creature that breathes the same starlit air. And suddenly, you don't just see yourself in the reflection, you see connection. The pool ripples once more, and you notice the neurons glowing brighter now, branching further out, forming patterns like tree roots, like lightning, like the endless spread of galaxies. You realize then, the map within you is not confined to your body. Every thought, every breath, every heartbeat connects you outward, weaving you into the same quiet design that threads through the stars. The mongoose moves again, circling around you, then pauses at the path leading away from the pool. Its eyes meet yours, and without words, you know it's time to move forward. You take one last look at the water. The reflection softens. Your skin returns, your face reappears, but now you carry the map within you, a secret you no longer need to see, to believe. You turn toward the path, and the mongoose waits for you to follow. The forest is darker here, but it feels safe. Your steps are slower, deeper, as though the earth beneath your feet knows you better. Now, and in the quiet, one thought rises, gentle and curious, carrying you forward. If your body holds a map this intricate, what hidden currents might you discover next, flowing just beneath the surface? The mongoose leads you deeper into the forest. The air changes here, softer, quieter, as if every sound has been wrapped in velvet. You follow the glow of moonlight until the trees open to reveal a grove of silver-leaved branches, their tips shimmering like starlight. You pause, and the mongoose sits at your feet, its eyes reflecting the same calm light. This is where you feel it first. That slow, weightless pull. You close your eyes for a moment, and the world narrows to your breath. Each inhale, a quiet wave. Each exhale, a tide retreating. You are not falling asleep, not yet, but you are standing at its threshold, and the mongoose is waiting to guide you through. Sleep, it whispers without words, is not emptiness. It is a language your body speaks fluently, even when you don't hear it. The grove brightens, and before you, the air begins to shift and swirl. Patterns appear, circles within circles, like the ripples on a still pond after a stone has been dropped. These are the stages of sleep, and you step into them as if walking through rings of light. The first ring is light sleep out here. Your body loosens its grip on wakefulness. Your eyelids grow heavy, your heart slows, and your muscles soften. It is like floating, carried by a gentle current that asks nothing of you except to trust it. You watch as brain waves, once fast and sharp in wakefulness, now move slower, smoother, like brushstrokes in water. The mongoose pads beside you, calm and steady. It knows this rhythm, this language. You step further, and the second ring forms. This is the deeper part of light sleep, the place where the world drifts further away. Your brain begins to hum in. Slower frequencies, and the body's quiet maintenance begins. Cells mend what has been worn. Energy gathers like dew. Even your heart speaks more softly, conserving its strength. But the mongoose leads you further still. The third ring glows darker, richer. This is deep sleep. Here, the air feels heavier but comforting, like a blanket placed over your shoulders. Your brain waves slow to their lowest hums, long and measured. Growth hormones are released, repairing the small fractures of the day. Your immune system strengthens, weaving unseen threads of defense. Even memories, scattered and unsteady, begin to settle into place like books return to their shelves. The mongoose sits and watches, as if proud of this quiet miracle. You linger in this ring for what feels like hours. There is no hurry here. Deep sleep is patient. It allows your body to restore itself in silence. And then the fourth ring begins to form, softer than the others, tinged with dreamlike REM sleep. The grove glows now in hues of blue and gold, and you feel as though you've stepped into another sky. Here, the brain wakes slightly, not to rise, but to imagine. Your eyes move beneath closed lids, rapid, darting, and dreams bloom like flowers in moonlight. Some dreams are simple, fragments of memory rearranged. Others are vast and strange, spun from feelings and unspoken thoughts. Scientists call it neural integration, the process where your mind ties loose threads into patterns. But standing here, it feels less like a process and more like poetry. The mongoose tilts its head and steps closer. It wants you to see something in this dream ring. Your brain's glymphatic system, the hidden network that clears away waste, awakens like a quiet tide. Cerebrospinal fluid flows around your neurons, sweeping out the debris left from the day's work. It is housekeeping of the most delicate kind, and you realize, even in your dreams, your body is working for you, holding you in ways you never notice. The mongoose brushes against your leg, its fur warm and grounding. You breathe deeply, and with each breath, the grove around you becomes clearer. The silver leaves above sway gently, like the slow rhythm of your sleeping brain. You understand now, sleep is not the absence of life. It is the deepest part of it. Your mind speaks in waves, your body answers in quiet repair. And together, in this silver grove, they write a language older than words. The mongoose leads you back toward the center of the grove, and you feel yourself carrying this knowledge with you, not heavy, but light, like a lantern in the dark. You glance back. Once more. The rings of sleep ripple outward endlessly, and for the first time, you see yourself not as separate from them, but as part of their movement. The mongoose's gaze meets yours, calm and knowing, And in that quiet moment, you wonder if sleep is a language your body speaks. What other hidden dialects of life are still waiting to be heard, just beyond the veil of night? The grove fades into soft darkness, and once again you follow the mongoose. Its small paws leave barely a sound as it leads you deeper into the forest. Ahead the air cools and the trees thin, until you hear it, a quiet trickle, steady and soothing, like a lullaby played by water alone. You step closer. A stream glows faintly under the moonlight, its surface smooth and silver, as if someone had poured stardust into its flow. The mongoose stands at its edge and dips a paw into the water. Ripples spread outward, and suddenly you understand. This stream is not just water. It is the current of calm that flows through you. You kneel beside it. The surface is clear enough that you can see what lives beneath. Drifting particles of light, tiny sparks that pulse and swirl in rhythm. The mongoose looks at you, and without words, you know their names. Serotonin, melatonin, dopamine. You reach out and touch the stream, and it feels warm, alive. Serotonin rises first, shimmering like a golden thread. It is the quiet joy that hums through your body when the sun touches your skin, or when a gentle voice speaks your name. Scientists call it a neurotransmitter, a messenger between neurons. But here, in this stream, it feels like sunlight bottled into liquid form. As you watch, serotonin threads weave themselves into your being. They settle in your mind, smoothing rough edges, softening the restless thoughts that once clung too tightly. Even your breath seems to change, becoming slower, deeper, as though serotonin itself is teaching you how to rest. The mongoose nods and dips its paw again, stirring the stream. From the depths, another glow rises, a soft, silvery blue. Melatonin. This is the quiet lantern that lights your nights from within. Born in the pineal gland, it appears when the world grows dark, telling your body that it is safe to sleep. You watch it drift like moonlight across the stream's surface, steady and patient. The mongoose looks upward, and you follow its gaze. The night sky above is deep and endless, but not empty. Stars burn faintly, and you feel a strange connection, as if melatonin, like starlight, has been guiding you all along, softening the sharpness of wakefulness and leading you toward the tender edges of dreams. You lean closer, and your reflection glimmers in the water. Your eyelids feel heavier now, not with exhaustion, but with ease. Melatonin whispers a promise. You do not need to chase rest. It will come. Like water flowing downhill, it knows the way. Then, beneath the silver, you notice a spark of green gold. It flickers quickly, darting through the stream like a playful fish. Dopamine. This one feels different. Brighter, lighter. It is the little fire of motivation, the gentle push that helps you rise with purpose. Without it, the world would feel still, flat. But in the right balance, dopamine adds color to everything. The satisfaction of a task done well, the sweetness of a kind word, the quiet pleasure of watching the moonlight on water. The mongoose glances at you knowingly, as if to say, even in sleep, your mind remembers joy. You sit with the stream for a long time, watching these three forces, serotonin, melatonin, dopamine, weaving in and out of one another like a dance. They are not loud or demanding. They do not shout for your attention. They simply work in harmony. And as you watch, you realize that your calm is not an accident. It is an ancient design, written into you from the moment you first breathed. Your brain and body are not separate from this forest or this stream. They are part of it, part of the same quiet intelligence that shaped the stars and the rivers and even the steady pulse of your heart. You close your eyes and listen. If serotonin were sound, it would be the deep hum of distant wind through the trees. If melatonin were sound, it would be the soft hush of falling snow. And dopamine? It would be the spark of a single, perfect note, small but bright, that lingers long after the song has ended. The mongoose steps closer, and its presence is steady, grounding. It does not rush you. Nothing here asks you to hurry. You breathe, slow and steady, and the stream keeps flowing. You dip your hand into it, and for a moment you feel it, the warmth of serotonin, the cool serenity of melatonin, the playful spark of dopamine. They settle into you, filling the spaces where tension once lived. When you open your eyes, you notice the edges of the forest have softened. The silver leaves above seem brighter. The night air feels lighter. You understand now. Peace is not something you find outside yourself. It is something you are built for. The mongoose turns and looks down the stream, where the water flows toward an unseen horizon. You follow its gaze, and there, far in the distance, a faint glow shimmers, a deeper light, hidden beyond the trees. The mongoose waits for you to notice it. You rise, your body calm, your mind quiet. The stream still hums behind you, but now you feel another pull, gentle but certain, calling you onward. Perhaps you wonder, as you take the first step toward that distant glow, what happens when this chemistry of calm gives way to the dreams that wait just beyond it. You follow the mongoose along the quiet stream until it opens into a small clearing. The air feels different here, weightier, though not heavy. Overhead, the moon has climbed higher, round and luminous, casting a silver path across the grass. Pause, and for a moment, everything is still. The mongoose tilts its head toward the sky. You follow its gaze, watching the moon glow brighter against the deep indigo of night. And you remember, this distant sphere, hundreds of thousands of miles away, pulls on the oceans themselves. It tugs at every tide, every wave, every ripple. That moves upon the earth. And in some quiet way, it tugs at you too. Gravity. You feel it without ever seeing it. A steady hand holding you close to the ground, anchoring you so you don't drift away into the endless dark. It's invisible, constant, and patient, the very force that cradles the world while it spins. The mongoose steps closer and sits beside you. Together, you watch the moonlight shimmering across the forest floor. And as you look, you realize how much gravity resembles rest itself. Rest is a kind of anchor. When you sleep, you are no longer chasing. You are no longer climbing or pushing or reaching. Instead, you let go. And like gravity, rest holds you, not with force, but with quiet certainty. You breathe deeply, and the world seems to settle around you. Your heart slows, your thoughts. Ease. This is what gravity feels like inside. The pull of stillness, guiding you back to yourself. The mongoose pads forward and leads you to a small pool of water in the clearing. Its surface is perfectly still, mirroring the moon above. You kneel beside it, watching as the reflection shimmers faintly in the night air. Look closer, the mongoose seems to say without words. And you do. Beneath the reflection of the moon, you see subtle ripples, not from the wind or your movement, but from something deeper. You remember how the moon pulls at the tides, how even the smallest pool of water feels its touch. Your body, too, is mostly water. In this moment, you can almost feel that same lunar whisper, tugging softly at the edges of your being. Science tells you that gravity shapes everything, planets, stars, oceans, even the paths of dreams as they wander through your resting mind. It is not loud. It does not demand to be noticed. And yet, without it, everything would drift apart. As you trace a fingertip across the pool's surface, the mongoose sits quietly beside you. There's a lesson here, one you feel more than you understand. To rest is not to stop. To rest is to return, to settle into the pull that has always been there, holding you steady against the vastness of space. Your eyes grow heavier, but not with weariness. It feels instead like the soft weight of the earth itself. Gravity, pressing you gently, reminding you that you belong here, that you are part of this same quiet order. The mongoose glances at you, its small eyes calm and knowing. You imagine the tides rising and falling with the moon's pull. They do not resist. They do not hurry. They follow their rhythm, a pattern older than memory. And in that, there is peace. You begin to wonder if your thoughts are the same. Little waves, guided by a force you cannot see. Every deep breath feels like low tide, every exhale like water retreating, leaving you softer, clearer, lighter. The mongoose moves closer, resting by your side. Its presence feels like gravity too, grounding you, keeping you here in this quiet clearing, away from the noise of the waking world. You close your eyes for a moment, and in that stillness, you imagine the universe. Every star suspended in its place, every planet turning slowly, none of it rushed, none of it falling away, all of it bound together by an unseen force, steady and eternal. And somehow, this thought makes your breathing even slower. Gravity, you realize, is not only about being held down. It's about connection. You are tied to the earth to the moon to the sun, and the sun to the galaxy. Nothing drifts alone, not even you. You lean back into the grass, and the ground feels safe beneath you, its quiet strength impossible to ignore. The mongoose curls nearby, small and still, its eyes reflecting the moonlight like twin lanterns. Above you, the sky stretches wide and calm. And for the first time, you feel how deeply restful it is to belong to something so vast. You are not separate from it. You are a part of it, as steady and certain as the tides themselves. You let this truth sink into you, deeper than thought, deeper than words. It settles there, quiet as gravity. The mongoose stirs, then looks toward the horizon. Beyond the trees, a faint glow begins to shimmer. Not sunrise, not yet, but something else. A softer light, a promise waiting in the dark. You watch it for a long time, and a thought drifts through you, slow and unhurried. If gravity can hold the stars in place, what quiet force might be holding the dreams you are about to enter? You sit with the mongoose beneath a canopy of quiet branches. The air is still, the kind of stillness that lets every sound bloom. And then, in that hush, you notice it. The steady drum within your chest. At first, it is faint, like a distant echo. But as you listen, it grows clearer, as if the world itself has hushed to let you hear it. Your heart, your quiet companion. Always there, always patient. The mongoose tilts its head, as though it can hear it too. It steps closer, and you feel a kind of unspoken invitation, an urging to truly pay attention. So you do. Thump, thump. Each beat is a soft knock. At the door of your awareness, you remember what you've read. This drum inside you is not just a sound. It is a signal, a language spoken in pulses and waves. With every contraction, your heart pushes life forward, sending rivers of blood through an intricate map of vessels, delivering oxygen, carrying warmth, whispering to every cell, I am here. You are safe. The mongoose closes its eyes, almost as if swaying to the rhythm. You do the same. As you listen, the science of it unfolds like a slow sunrise in your mind. Your heart is an engine, yes, but it is also an instrument. Each beat carries information. When you are calm, it slows, and the parasympathetic system, the body's quiet caretaker, takes the lead. Your breath deepens, muscles unclench. Thoughts settle like snowflakes on still water. It's astonishing, really, this small, unceasing drum keeping time not just for your body, but for your peace. The mongoose leads you closer to a nearby stream, its surface reflecting the moon like liquid glass. You kneel, watching how the ripples move outward in soft circles. Your heart feels like that, a center point, sending waves through every part of you. And you realize calm isn't something you chase. It's something you return to, the way ripples always find their way back to stillness. You press a hand to your chest. There it is. Slow, steady, strong. You imagine how it works. Electrical signals sparking in perfect timing. Valves opening and closing like well-practiced doors. Blood flowing in a gentle current, nourishing you with every passing moment. Science can describe the mechanics, but what you feel now is something quieter, something almost musical. You close your eyes and let your mind drift. You picture your heart as a drum in a great hall of silence. Each beat sends sound into every corridor, a rhythm that keeps the world inside you from unraveling. It is not hurried. It never demands. It simply is. And in its patience, you find yourself softening, melting into its quiet strength. The mongoose curls up beside you, its tiny chest rising and falling in a rhythm of its own. Two living metronomes, side by side, keeping time not just with biology, but with being. You remember reading once about how your heart speaks to your brain, how a calm rhythm tells the mind that it is safe. This is why slowing down matters. This is why deep breathing feels like exhaling a storm. Each beat reassures you, quieting the alarm bells that sometimes echo too loudly in your mind. Dot thump dot, the sound is softer now. Or maybe you've simply become part of it. The night air is cool, the stars above steady, and for a fleeting moment, you feel suspended in the quietest truth. You are alive. You are held. You are steady. The mongoose lifts its head as though agreeing with something only the two of you can hear. It noses gently at your hand, urging you to rest it once more over your chest. You obey, and there it is, the patient rhythm, like footsteps on a familiar path. You let yourself follow. Each beat is a lantern swinging in the dark, leading you deeper into calm. You imagine the way your body listens, vessels relaxing, breath sinking to the pace, thoughts quieting until only the drum remains. And in that simplicity, you feel something almost holy, a stillness that belongs not to the world outside, but to the world within. Minutes pass, or maybe hours. Time feels different when measured in heartbeats. When you open your eyes again, the forest has changed. The moon is higher, its light gentler now, like a hand laid softly on your shoulder. The mongoose stands and glances toward the horizon, where a faint glow seems to shimmer at the edge of the trees. You rise, slowly, feeling the weight of the earth beneath your feet and the steady rhythm within you. The two are the same, you realize. Gravity holds you, but so does this quiet drum. You look to the mongoose, and for a moment, you think you understand its lesson. When the world feels too loud, you do not have to outrun it. You can simply listen. You take one more breath, one more slow step, and as the mongoose leads you onward, your heart keeps its patient pace, carrying you like a boat drifting on the gentlest current. You wonder, with a kind of drowsy curiosity, what else might be hidden in the quiet rhythms of your body, waiting to be heard. The forest is quiet, as though it too is holding its breath for what comes next. You and the mongoose walk beneath the last traces of starlight until the trees part, revealing a clearing bathed in pale silver. It feels like the world has softened. Here, edges blurred, as if you've stepped into the space between sleeping and waking. The mongoose pauses, and so do you. Ahead, the horizon glows faintly, not with sunlight, but with something stranger, a dreamlike shimmer that bends the air itself. You sit down at its edge, and the mongoose curls beside you, its small eyes half closed, as if it already knows this place well. You close your own eyes, and suddenly, you are there, not in the forest, not in the waking world, but somewhere in between. This is REM sleep, the deep ocean of dreaming. You've heard of it before. Rapid eye movements beneath closed lids, the brain alive with activity, almost as bright as if you were awake. But here, in this strange twilight, it feels less like biology and more like stepping onto the shore of another world. Images rise like islands from the mist. Some are familiar, the face of someone you love, a place you once visited, the sound of laughter that lingers in memory. Others are impossible, doors that open into the sky, rivers that flow upward, stars you can hold in your hands. And somehow it all belongs. The mongoose looks at you, as if to say, this is what your mind does when the world grows quiet. Science explains it simply. During REM sleep, your brain sorts through the day, weaving pieces of memory together with fragments of imagination. It strengthens connections, discards what is no longer needed, and lays down the foundations of learning and creativity. But as you watch these drifting dreamscapes unfold, it feels like more than just a process. It feels like poetry written in neurons and light. You take a slow breath, and in this place, even breathing feels different. Each inhale draws you deeper, not into sleep, but into understanding. Your dreams are not random. They are your brain's way of rearranging the puzzle pieces of your life. The hippocampus, that quiet archivist within your mind, whispers over its shelves of memory, deciding what to keep and what to let go. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the part that usually insists on logic and rules, loosens its grip, letting the impossible bloom like wildflowers in snow. You see it now, a bridge stretching out before you, built from memory and lit by imagination. You step onto it, and it carries you through visions both strange and familiar, a dance between science and wonder. The mongoose follows, its tiny paws silent on the glowing path. You feel weightless, almost untethered, but safe. Every step forward feels like slipping deeper into the most intimate conversation you've ever had with yourself. Somewhere in this drifting landscape, you see an old memory, a childhood room, sunlight through a window, the faint smell of books. It is so vivid you could almost touch it. This is what REM sleep does. It sharpens certain memories, wrapping them in threads of emotional significance, keeping them safe. Your mind, even in dreams, is always taking care of you. And then the scene shifts. The room dissolves, replaced by something impossible, an ocean of stars, each one pulsing gently, as if in time with your breath. You know this is the work of the dreaming brain too, stitching together fragments of thought, memory, and pure invention. You smile, because in this place, none of it has to make sense. The mongoose sits at your feet, watching. You wonder if it dreams as well. If animals too walk these quiet corridors of night, their minds weaving simple threads of instinct and memory into small, wordless stories. For a moment, you simply float there, listening to the soundless hum of your brain at work. Every flicker of light in this dreamscape is a neuron firing. Every shifting shadow is a memory being placed in its right home. It is science, yes, but it is also art. You feel your breath deepen, and with it, the rhythm of this place slows. The shimmering horizon ahead grows softer, warmer, as though inviting you to linger. And you do. You sit with your mongoose companion and let the landscapes of REM pass around you like clouds. Faces blur into colors. Colors drift into shapes. Shapes dissolve into stars. And through it all, you feel profoundly at peace, as if simply watching this quiet work of your mind is enough. After a while, you notice the faintest pull, a sense that it is nearly time to return to the forest, to the waking world. But before you go, you take one last look at this horizon, this borderland between science and wonder. And in that lingering gaze, you realize something. Your dreams are not just escapes. They are bridges. Bridges between what you know and what you have yet to understand. You rise slowly. The mongoose rises with you. Together, You step back from the edge of this twilight and into the quiet forest. The dawn now glowing faintly beyond the trees dot as you walk. You feel it, that gentle thread connecting you still to your dreams, as though some part of you remains in that horizon, still weaving, still imagining. And you wonder, with the kind of curiosity that feels almost like hope, what else might wait for you there when you close your eyes again. The sky is no longer black. It has softened to a deep indigo, and the first traces of dawn rest like watercolor along the horizon. You sit quietly in the forest clearing, the mongoose curled against your side, its breathing steady and small. There is no rush. The world moves slowly here, and so do you. You feel the weight of the night, not heavy, but grounding like a warm blanket. The lessons you've gathered linger around you like a constellation, the map within your body, the secret language of sleep, the chemistry of calm. Each chapter of this quiet journey has settled into you, like stones placed in a riverbed, steadying its flow dot. And now, as the night prepares to hand itself over to the day, you realize something. This journey was never only about learning. It was about returning. The mongoose shifts, pressing closer to you, as if it knows what comes next. You lower your gaze and see how still the forest has become. The trees no longer whisper. The air no longer stirs. Even the stars seem to pause, lingering for a breath longer before fading into the growing light. This is what rest feels like when it finally reaches its quietest point. The silence not of emptiness, but of completion. Your body understands it before your mind does. Your heart, that patient drum, has slowed. Your breath moves in long, even tides. The orchestra of your nervous system, once busy with signals and tasks, now hums with the low, steady song of balance. Science would call this homeostasis, the state where everything in you has found its center. Your temperature, your heart rate, your brain waves, all drifting together like small boats anchored on a calm sea. But as you sit here, watching the faint light at the edge of the world, it feels simpler than that. It feels like belonging. You close your eyes. Behind your eyelids, you see not darkness, but a soft, luminous quiet. The echoes of dreams still linger there, fragments of memory folded gently into your mind's library. You imagine your brain at work even now, filing and sorting, carrying last night's insights into the architecture of who you are. Sleep isn't just rest. It is a careful hand, placing each piece where it belongs. The mongoose nudges you, once almost as if reminding you to look again. And when you do, you notice something else. The horizon is no longer only light. It is a mirror dot in it. You see yourself, not your reflection as the world sees you, but the quiet map of what lives within. Neurons glowing faintly like lanterns in the dark. Blood vessels branching into rivers of life. A heart steady and sure. And somewhere deeper still, that unseen gravity of rest, holding you in its gentle pull. You understand now? You can return. Here, anytime. Sleep is not only the place you go at night. It is a doorway you can learn to open, even when you are awake, in every deep breath, in every moment of stillness, in every pause where you let the world go soft enough for a while. The mongoose climbs onto your lap and settles there, its warmth grounding you further. For a moment, you both sit in perfect silence, the kind that doesn't ask for anything, doesn't demand answers, only offers space dot. And in that space, you feel your mind exhale. You remember how serotonin draped its gentle calm across your thoughts, how melatonin dimmed the lights of the waking world so sleep could bloom, how dopamine traced quiet lines of contentment through you, as if painting the inside of your chest with peace. Each chemical, each system, every quiet mechanism of your body, all of it has brought you here, and all of it will be here again. The next time you close your eyes, the sun lifts higher, the stars disappear, But the stillness doesn't leave you. It lingers like the scent of the night air, faint but undeniable. You rise slowly, the mongoose climbing to your shoulder, light as a shadow. Together, you begin the walk back through the forest. Every step is softer now. Every sound feels hushed. Even the earth beneath your feet seems to welcome your return. And as you walk, you know something with quiet certainty. The world will wake. Your day will come. The noise will return. But beneath it all, there will remain this current, this calm, this map, this silent return. You don't lose it when the sun rises. You carry it with you. And maybe that is the true secret of sleep. It isn't just what happens when you drift away from the world, but what follows you back when you open your eyes again. You pause one last time at the edge of the clearing. The mongoose glances at you, and though it says nothing, you understand it perfectly. You've learned to listen to the rhythms of your body, the tides of your mind, the language of the quiet within you. And now, with the horizon brightening, before you step forward, knowing you will find your way back here again and again, like returning home. The world has gone quiet. You feel it before you even notice the darkness. It isn't the darkness of absence, but the kind that holds you, the kind that listens. The mongoose curls against you, warm and steady. You sense its breathing, slow and measured, like a metronome made of fur and silence. And without thinking, you match it. Inhale. Exhale. You are no longer in the forest, but the forest hasn't left you. Its quiet lingers inside you, like a secret place you can visit any time. The map of your body glows softly in the background. Of your mind, a living constellation, each point of light a reminder of what moves within you. Neurons whisper like stars. Blood flows like rivers. Your heart is the gentle drum beneath it all, steady and sure. You remember the chemistry of calm, how every molecule played its part. Serotonin, melatonin, dopamine, small and unseen, but faithful as moonlight. You remember the weight of gravity, not as a force that holds you down, but as a hand that steadies you when the world feels too fast. And most of all, you remember the rhythm of rest, the way your breath became the tide, the way your dreams opened into vast horizons, and how, without even realizing it, you drifted. You are drifting still. Each thought slows, untangling from the next until they are no longer thoughts at all, but soft fragments of sky. The mongoose stirs once, as if to be certain you are still here, still safe. It doesn't need to lead you anymore. It only stays a quiet companion, the kind that doesn't leave when the journey ends, because, in truth, the journey never really ends. Sleep is not a door that closes. It is a thread, and tonight you have learned to hold it in your hands. You feel it now, fine as silk, but unbreakable. It runs from the world around you into the deepest parts of yourself, where time slows and noise fades. You follow it without fear, because it doesn't lead you away. It leads you home. In the hush of this space, science becomes something else. It is no longer charts or measurements. It is the soft logic of the universe, neurons firing like fireflies, waves of brain, activity rising and falling like breath, each pattern carrying you further from waking thought and deeper into quiet certainty. The certainty that you are safe, the certainty that you are held, the certainty that you can return to this stillness again and again. The mongoose sighs, a sound so small it almost isn't a sound at all. You smile without moving, because you understand. This is what it means to rest, to let go without falling, to close your eyes without fear of losing yourself, to drift into something that feels like an endless exhale. The horizon is gone now. There is no forest, no moon, no stars. Only you, the quiet, and the thread you carry with you, the promise that when the world grows loud, there will always be this silence, waiting. Your breath deepens. And somewhere in that deepening, you cross the final threshold. Not a door, not a wall, just a soft, invisible line where thought becomes dream. And dream becomes the kind of sleep that holds you the way the earth holds the sea. The mongoose is there. The stillness is there. You are there, and you are home. Asterisk, and in this home you do not need to remember the way. Sleep remembers it for you. And now, as our story gently fades, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending this moment with me. Your presence here means the world, and your support helps me create even more peaceful journeys. Just for you. If this helped you rest, please consider liking, subscribing, or simply coming back tomorrow night. Until then, stay cozy, stay kind, and may your dreams tonight be soft, serene, and full of wonder. Good night, my friend. With warmth, David.